Did you just type?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't have to be on the chat screen to see a message. I could just be on the actual contact screen and it just pops up.
Yo, Rockets offer 4 future first-round draft picks for Jimmy Butler. What the fuck?
What are these sound excerpts?
That's from our chat. Kirby just sent a message. I was listening to it. I put the video in our chat.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Like, I like that because I'm on this screen a lot, and you don't have to be tuned into. Oh, him and his Instagram.
I hate when he tags us on Instagram.
I just don't like how Instagram doesn't notify me.
It's just so much work.
It is. It really is.
Okay, yeah. So, mine doesn't do that, so maybe that was one of the updates today.
Yeah, guess so.
I like the whole idea of him tagging us in something is that you don't have to mention it to somebody. They just go and look at it. But he has to do all the work. He has to tag you in it. Then he has to say, "Hey, I tagged you in something," and then he has to remind you to go look at it again. Yeah. It's like such a huge process.
It really is. He gets so mad.
It's like, oh no, wait, I haven't looked at it yet. Oh, come on. And then you purposely forget. And then later on he's like, you look at that link yet? No, I haven't got to it yet. Oh, come on.
You guys are such idiots. That's so true. Yeah, I don't know why I don't get, like, when he tags us, I don't get anything telling me, oh, you've been tagged, whatever. I don't get notifications. And I have it set, to get notifications, the banner notification, and nothing comes through. So I always have to check Instagram on my own. And it's such a pain.
Yep.
So Jason, Australia coming up.
World Championships.
The 8-scale Nitro Worlds.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the big 3. I think there's 3 World Championships that I view that are difference makers in 1/8 scale Nitro buggies, one of them, 10 scale off-roads the other, and then touring car. And even the touring car one this year was kind of a joke. So,
really?
Yeah.
Is this the one I was watching on Live RC yesterday?
No, that's the 200 millimeter touring car worlds.
Oh my god!
Which to me, that's the Nitro 200.
Oh, that's right. That's right, Nitro.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in that one either.
You're not?
Not at all.
Now is this one in Florida?
It is in Miami, I think.
Oh, okay.
They've had so many worlds down there for on-road. I've never been to any of them.
Wow.
But they're all like Nitro,
I see our good friend Paul Lemieux there.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Guys like Ralph Birch is still racing. I was like, wow.
I know. That guy's been to so many races and worlds. It's insane.
I wonder if Howard's there.
No, that's not really his gig. Because that's, he would run, electric touring car, but these are Nitro touring cars, so. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that class.
I wonder how many entries they got.
I want to say it was pretty decent, like 130 something. Because a lot of these worlds they limit to 150, but it was okay. I mean, that's not bad. I wouldn't be surprised if that's, that represents, a third of the entire population of those cars, but.
Yeah, a lot of names I couldn't even pronounce there, but then I saw Ralph Birch and then I saw Paul Lemieux.
Yeah, there's this guy with some muscles that TQs all the time.
With some muscles?
Like, muscles. He's like, all his photos, like he's always flexing, like, and he's got like this tattoo on his arm, and just looks like a badass. He doesn't look like an RC racer at all. He looks
I
like
was gonna say that's way off the norm.
yeah, he's like kind of cut, chiseled. He's got like this tattoo on his arm, just giving us all the rest of us a bad name.
Yeah, he sure is. Cut it out, dude.
Probably has all kinds of girlfriends and wives and.
Yeah, say something for us, dude.
No kidding. Save some for us. But yeah, I think he TQ'd 3 rounds, so I think he's the overall TQ as far as.
Wow.
Yeah, he's awesome. Dario Bellestre, I think is his name.
Yeah, can't pronounce those names.
Wait till I send you this photo.
I wonder if Ralph Birch is running a hyperdrive.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't even know what those guys run. Well, Polymuse's X-Ray.
we think. So, yeah, they got the Worlds going on down there in Miami, and this guy I think is TQ. Dario, what did I say? Balestrelli? Bestrelli? Naoto Matsakura does really well in this too. Balistre. Dario Balistre.
Ballereste.
That's probably it. Nayato has done pretty well. So, yeah, we got some good stuff going. I know... oh, jeez. I hate getting caught on these news sites and you look at these releases they put up.
Our good friend Mike Garrison's calling that race.
Is he?
Yep. Who's our good friend over in Australia?
We got a few.
Oh, we do?
One of them's Ben Panic.
Ben Panic. So, Jason, I was looking up Australia. Interesting facts on Australia.
Okay.
So I think I'll throw some out randomly through the show.
Okay. Do we got one to start?
I like this one. Australia's first police force was made up of most well-behaved convicts. How crazy is that? It's like, well, you're well-behaved. You're a cop now.
Well, that's interesting.
Australia, here you go, has the highest electricity prices in the world.
Damn. Well, it takes a lot more to get it down there.
Yeah, that's true. Across a lot of oceans and mountains and stuff like that.
Lots. I guess we get to find out if the toilet swirls backwards, huh? Isn't that the place you go to where it supposedly goes backwards? Did we talk about this?
I think we did. Or does it go... Yeah, it goes the opposite direction. So it would go counterclockwise. A kangaroo is only 1 centimeter long when it is born.
That's tiny.
God damn.
What's the conversion on that? Centimeters to inches?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure Kirby knows this.
It's above my education level. All right, don't forget this. Don't forget this one here, Jason. When you're over there in Australia, it is illegal to walk on the right-hand side of a footpath.
What?
It's illegal.
So it's stand right, walk left.
Something like that.
Maybe they'll cut us some slack.
Maybe. But you don't want to get stuck over there, Jason.
I don't.
On some stupid rule,
Some kind of rule, you know.
Rule like that.
So how big was it? 2 centimeters?
I said 1 here, I believe. Yep, 1.
That's 0.39 of an inch.
Eesh.
40 thousandths, roughly. That's small. That's a small that's a small kangaroo.
Kangaroo. Mr. Kangaroo.
I hope I see Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a knife.
I haven't seen that movie since it came out.
This is a knife. Remember how huge that was?
Yep.
That was like so big. Mick Dundee. I gotta brush up on my accent a little bit.
Interesting fact number 76. An Australian man once tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. Whatever. Those Australians, they're crazy. Ben Panic, you're nuts.
Well, you can.
Who's the other dude over there that's a fan of the show? Forget all these names.
We got a few. I gotta remember. I'm trying to remember the other guy's name.
They really hate when we talk sports because they can care less about
any of your sports.
Anything over here.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Per capita, Australians spend more money on gambling than any other nation.
Really? Gamblers. Addicts.
Oh wow, there's a place over there called Tasmania.
That's where that devil's from.
Yeah. Each week, 70 tourists overstay their visas.
I thought it was overstayed their welcome.
Yeah.
That's probably more like it. That's gonna
get out of here.
That's gonna be the RC guys. All right,
Yeah.
You've overstayed your welcome.
You leave now.
Get out of here.
You leave now, mate.
Thomas said when they were over there that when they were talking to David Ronafalk after every one of his runs, they would say, "What do you reckon, David?"
Heavy favorite, David Ronafalk.
Is he getting a lot of votes?
Yeah, sure is.
I can see that.
Is this is not your first trip over there, correct? I mean,
it is. I've never been there before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't into racing when they had the '89 Worlds there.
Oh, wow.
Although I would have loved to experience that.
Yeah, that's where Cliff Lett went around the track with the wheelbarrow and the camera mounted on it. That was in car action.
I don't think that actually happened, to be honest.
I believe it. Why would car action lie?
That's true. One of the two best issues of car action of all time.
Oh, really? What did you like? The coverage of the world?
The coverage at that time was just awesome. Man, I loved reading that one, and then Detroit, the '91 Worlds in Detroit. To me, those were two of the best, if not the best.
And then I like '93s also because they did a insert of the world, so it was like a car action magazine. Then they had an insert just for the worlds.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that one.
That was pretty cool because it was pages of the world. I love that stuff. Now it's just totally different, but yeah. What was I looking up here? Yeah, '93 was in where was that at? That was
Basildon, England.
Yeah. That was a cool one too. I actually thought about because I can't find my magazines, so I thought about getting that one off eBay. And I think it's pretty expensive. This guy's asking a lot of money for these old car actions. I wish I still had all of mine.
Yeah, I don't have any of mine either.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here.
If you go to Car Action, they actually have books with every issue in there.
Wow.
The time I visited Car Action, they're telling me, they're like, yeah, we got these over here, and it has all the issues, and I'm like, I go straight to my favorite ones. I'm just like, Hey, let me look at the 89 Worlds in Australia, the 91 Worlds, and then I want to see the Clodbuster Monster Truck Shootout. And I'm like, those are
Yeah,
the best issues. And, they're kind of
right.
looking at me like, what? What?
But but you're right on that, man.
I know.
Oh, this was an awesome car action book too. This was strictly just how they did the special series of magazines like the Off Road. They
Yeah.
did an RC car action off road from 1990. It was 186 pages of nothing but off road.
Damn.
Track reports, car reviews. I remember looking
I
at
don't think a
them.
B6 even makes it in car action anymore. Like it's like not like the segments like not hardly even reviewed.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I was looking through a car action at the grocery store, and it was just like a leaflet. It was just, man, 66 pages. Sad. Yeah, this one here, this off-road edition, I remember reading this front to back multiple times during school.
Oh, during school, huh?
So they had the RC10 Graphite in here review. They had the 8 um, AYK Pro Radiant.
Mm-hmm.
They had the JRX2.
He would be an awesome guest for the show. One of the Dunn brothers. Actually, either both. I mean, you could get either, but Mike or Steve Dunn, it'd be pretty awesome.
Maybe when you come back from the world, you can work on that.
Oh, okay.
They were not going to respond to me. Yeah, pretty cool. That one's only $12 on eBay.
Really?
Yeah.
Get two.
Here it is. I found it. 1990 Australia Worlds.
That's a good one. The picture of
Yeah.
Roger Curtis holding the stealth car up from a distance.
$25.
That's a cool photo.
Let's see. Look at this. I thought this was. Yeah, this is really cool. Cliff Lett's doing tires. He's like, or no, he's behind a stack of tires.
Yeah, that's the caption. Cliff Lett, something like Cliff Lett peers.
Yep, peers out from behind a pile
There you go.
of coveted Yokomo TR31 tires.
2.2 tires.
TR31 tires with oversized rims.
Mm-hmm.
And a cool photo of Pops Losey sitting down with Jay Halsey.
The Jammin'. Why don't any of these boys line up?
Hot bikini chick here.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the story of that?
I wonder what she looks like now.
That's probably a good question.
Interesting. Cool. Doesn't our good friend Chili Duncan work there?
He does.
Can't he just rob us a few of these? Don't they have copies of these? Multiple copies still? Or is it all digital?
I have no idea.
Chili, if you can find me that 1990 and 1993. I guess you even go back to when Joel won the Worlds too. Alright, Chili, hook us up. Even if you have to hook me up digital, I'll take that just so I can browse through this stuff. Alright, back to my Australia stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, somebody's coming in. It's Michael Myers.
Dun.
Which I did go see over the weekend.
You went and saw a movie?
Yeah.
You rolling?
Did, sir.
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, can you talk or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
Make sure you're punched out, sir. Don't be hanging out here on my time.
That's right. Man, why don't my Leafs springs line up.
What are you trying to do?
I got an assembly going right now on my with some RC stuff, designs I'm working on, and having a little problem with my leaf springs.
I'll have to send you a video about springs.
Okay.
You ever watch? I think I've asked this. You watch Mystery Science Theater 3000? You've seen it or heard of it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. They did a cool short on springs. It's really funny.
So it's just about springs.
Yeah. So this coming Saturday, I am going to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which is about 45 minutes from me. I'm going to the FM Kirby Center, in case any listeners out there know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And I'm going to see Mystery Science Theater 3000 live.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a gift from my girlfriend Carrie.
That's actually a really good gift.
It's a damn good gift. I'm excited.
I have to give her some mega props for just knowing how to get those gifts.
She does. Outdoes me all the time.
You're like, oh, how about we just go to Olive Garden? That'll be my gift.
Olive Garden? Jeez, that's a little expensive, Jason.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, it's not hard to top me.
So top that.
So I'm really excited about that. Should be a lot of fun. So when are you leaving for this race?
Monday evening.
Monday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys are getting there. First of all, you're going to miss Halloween, Jason. Jeez.
Yeah, it says on the tickets. It says plus 2 days.
Plus 2 days?
That's what it says. So you take off whatever date that you take off, and then it says your arrival time plus 2 days.
What?
It's crazy.
I guess all that time zone stuff?
It takes forever. I mean, it takes forever plus, time zone differences, but just, yeah, it's pretty incredible how I haven't even really started mentally. Well, I think I'm mentally ready.
So, when's all the drivers start showing up for this thing? Same time?
Same time, yeah. I think David Ronafolk told me he was going to leave on Sunday night, but so his trip is obviously different than ours, but we'll be there. There. And we're doing one of the Airbnbs. We're like renting like a little, I don't know, apartment, or I don't know what it is, but Airbnb setup.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
Seemed to be the most. It seems to be a popular pick with the racers this time around. Just seems to be like the popular thing to do too, because just being there for so long, it seems like it's been like the hot thing. Better than a hotel.
Yeah. Now, is it going to be close to the track?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's actually pretty close. I think we're also close to where Associated's staying. I think they've also chose an Airbnb to stay at also. Kind of cool.
Yeah. Man, the poor people renting that out to you guys. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, we're too old by now. We're not gonna cause any damage, but
So this question came in from Charlie Mack. Do the fastest drivers in the world really need 5 days of practice?
No. Nope.
So why is there 5 days of practice?
You know, one of the reasons they had this this practice set up was in 2014 we had the Worlds in Italy for Nitro, and they decided not to have a warm-up race, and they said, okay, well, we'll do instead of a warm-up, we'll just give you more practice ahead of time for the event. And the racers, you know, it's not like the racers have a whole lot of say in what's going on with IFMAR, but so when all said and done, we went over there to Italy. We had the extra practice. It's exactly the same schedule. And we had the extra practice. Nobody had been on the track before. Well, a lot of the Americans and European drivers. They hadn't really ran there before. But it was too long then. Like, we never did a warm-up, and we went there, and we had all that practice. Man, it was kind of exhausting from the standpoint of, you know, kind of having to live through the ups and downs.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day basis, you know, depending on which driver, you know, whoever's feeling the best that day, of course, everyone, you know, they're in a great mood and there's no issues, but you know, inevitably there's a couple guys struggling and not feeling good about their day, and it carries over into everything and dinner, and so you just have to live those ups and downs, and makes for a really long event, because really you're only practicing, but everybody wants to have good days, right? You want to end on a high note, or feel like you have a legitimate chance, and some people get their feelings hurt on, you know, one day or another, and all of a sudden, you know, it's not as magical. And then you have to, you know. So there's a lot of that at races like this. It just extends it even longer. So having that really long format, really long day, makes it rough.
Yeah.
So we could do the race in 4 days. And I think this was another question from JQ, or an observation or something, a question he put on somewhere. But yeah, we could do the race in 4 days. 1 day of practice, 2 days of qualifying, and the main event's done.
Yeah.
And I think most people would be more than happy with that setup and arrangement, but for some reason everybody, you know, IFMAR and the powers that be, or however you want to say it, that's not what they want.
The boys on the board.
Yep, they want to have this longer event, and man, it's kind of annoying.
Okay.
So I'm trying not to, you know, get too involved in that. Just go over there and, you know, do what you can do.
Well, you don't want to piss off the boys on the board.
Nope.
There are more kangaroos than people in Australia. There's 50 million of them.
50 million kangaroos.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't have expected that.
I want to see you box one.
You want me to box one?
Yeah, I want you to.
Those things are way too tough, man.
Yeah, man.
I'd have a better chance against Mike Tyson in the 80s than that kangaroo.
I believe in you, Jason. You can do it.
And it'd be a whole lot more profitable.
Have somebody record it, please.
Would you fight one of those guys for the kind of money that they ask, or that they get? I think that's kind of an age-old question, right?
Yeah.
Would you fight Mayweather or
Eesh, boy, I don't know.
or what's their name? McGregor, right? Mayweather and McGregor. Sorry. Would you fight? Would you fight either one of those guys for the payout?
Man, if they promise not to kill me.
Yeah, but that's not part of the deal.
Because, man, you take a hit from some of those guys, something bad can happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the risk.
I don't know. I guess if you're talking that kind of money, I guess I would try it. I don't know. Damn, it's scary.
I think would sound like a great idea, and it would sound. And I think most people would probably consider and agree to it until you got right down to it. I think that's when some of the things would start to set in.
That'd be scary as hell.
Yeah, when you actually had to start going out to the ring,
Oh,
and
God.
it was publicized, and I think that's when things would start to change a little bit. Sure, everyone's a badass, sitting behind their keyboard, right?
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I'd do that. 100 million for that. But the question is, if he does throw a punch,
It could kill you.
I suppose. Or if he throws a punch, are you just thinking, I'm just kind of taking a dive? As soon as this thing makes any contact, I'm just going down and I'm getting my 100 million? I think that's what most people would say.
I'd curl up in the fetal position.
The better question is, could you last 2 minutes?
No.
That would be
God,
the question.
no.
That would be the longest 2 minutes of your life, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, it wouldn't even go 2 minutes. I would never be able to survive it. There's no way.
Wish Carrie was around to ask if he would last 2 minutes. It seems like it would be a good question, right?
Well, yeah, you would have to definitely mention the topic first.
Let's get into some of these questions.
All right, go ahead.
You're the question reader.
Nah, you can read them too, I'm over here browsing stuff about Australia. All right, let me scoot over to here. Oh, wow, there's a lot of questions here, or predictions too. So on our Facebook page, we're running a contest, predict the winner, and then all the correct answers will be thrown together, and we'll select a winner from that on episode 183 when Jason returns from the Worlds.
That's right.
And you can win an autographed Jason Rona 8-scale body. Now, which this is the you used this at what race?
It's only been run once.
This is when you ran the electric.
Yeah, I ran my e-buggy before the Roar Nationals just to do some testing. And yeah, it has one race on it.
Hey, wait, you got custom rip stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, look at that. Nice. Available at stickit1.com. And if anybody can message me, and I need to find Stickit1, do they still make the hats? Because I'm not seeing it anywhere. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Oh, so you're thinking they'd eliminated your hat?
Yeah, I don't think they make the hats anymore.
They're like
but
this.
If they do, please message me and tell me, fans, and I'd like to order another hat. You too can get a Radio Impound hat. Go to stickit1racing.com if they still have them.
If the price is right.
Get the RIP logo, get the JC logo on there, get your name on the back of the hat.
What was your favorite show to watch when you skipped school? I guess the first question is, did you actually skip school?
No, because I had perfect attendance from junior high to senior high.
Holy cow, you're one of those guys.
12th grade I missed.
Ooh,
days.
That must have been kind of tough, huh?
Yeah, well, they at the time they switched They used to just hand out perfect attendance awards and stuff like that. They just handed them out to you. Well, then 11th grade or 12th grade, they switched to like you had to go up on stage and get them. And I was like, yeah, that's not happening. Plus, it's my senior year, and you get that. Everybody skips school here and there, so I skipped a lot of school senior year. Yeah, I didn't want to go up front. I didn't want to go on stage. I was shy.
I don't blame you, man.
And but yeah, perfect attendance. Junior, senior high.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then my favorite show would be, adult material on the satellite.
Oh. But you don't watch any like game shows? I loved watching the game shows. Watch like Price is Right and stuff.
Yeah, Price is Right was good because they had a lot of hot chicks on there. Damn. I mean, they were. I mean, you were like, wow. Did you ever watch The Price is Right from the 50s?
No.
Like, they gave away houses, like, from Sears. Like, the fucking house. I'll have to link you on YouTube. I'm sure they're on YouTube. But
The YouTubes.
On the YouTubes. Yeah, they gave away, like, houses and stuff. This is, black and white Price is Right.
I used to sit there and be like, and, they're like everybody. At this showcase showdown, 15,246.
Oh, that was you were guessing?
Yeah, I'd be guessing.
Oh, okay. I never understood like one guy would be like $1.
Yeah, it's because if you go over, if you were sure the other guy is going to go over.
So you didn't want to go over.
Yeah, so the deal is you automatically win if he goes over. So if you think he went over, if he was going over bid, then you just went $1 and then you would win. That was that whole strategy. Seemed to work.
When will Gotti get Red Dead Redemption 2? It is preloaded on my PS4, Joe. Joe's there. And is ready to go at midnight.
So it just starts downloading?
Yeah, it already preloaded. So just gotta sit and wait until midnight, and then you can play it. Yeah. What do you mean, Joe? Joe, come on. You know I get that the day it releases. Question is, when are you getting it?
Right?
And what does Gotti think about the Grand Theft Auto 6 comments? I'm not sure what you mean by the comments on that. Other than I heard the developer Rockstar say they're not sure if a GTA 6 would survive in today's political climate.
That's probably right.
Jason, my resume writing skills are trash. What does Jason look for in a resume? So what do you look for in a resume, Jason, when somebody sends it in? Because you guys are now accepting applications, correct?
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, you're looking for concise, to the point, some bullet points of your achievements, and what you can bring to the table, right? Why we need to add you as a driver, and what kind of influence do you have in your area, and ultimately people forget why they're sponsored. Seems to be a big problem.
Well, why is that?
Because
I mean, why are they sponsored?
They're sponsored to promote your brand and your name to help you sell more product.
Okay.
That's the whole idea of sponsorship. Lots of people they forget about that part, and they'll send us emails sometimes that says, "Hey, I'm thinking about picking up more classes this year. I want to run more classes, but it's costing me a lot of money, so I need to get sponsored." Okay. So they don't understand the whole idea of being sponsored.
Okay.
They think it's to help them race more classes and win more races. It's actually supposed to be the opposite. They're supposed to be representing, helping the brand. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, you're sort of like a salesman out there.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like, you know what? I've been running this new Ellipse tire. These things are working well. You know, talking to somebody that um, that might want to know that type of information and get them hooked on something. Then I mean, that's how we used to do it back in the day. I used to build people's associated cars for them, trying to get them to run, Proline tires at Lake Park and, run these tires and build this car. I'll help you build it. And I mean, we used to do everything to get people to run the stuff we raced for. Now people just think it's all about them. I can't say people or everybody. That's not right. But
Yeah.
a lot of people come into it with the wrong mindset.
Okay, so they gotta say things like, I could help promote your company at my local track. I'm very good at this track. I could probably sell some tires here.
Yeah, I'm very persuasive. We could get people to, I could show people how well my J-Concept stuff is working, and I'm sure it would pay off in the long run. That's how it's done.
And how do you follow up on that to make sure that they're doing that?
Well, I think sometimes people will tell us.
Yeah.
We got a great feedback from a driver the other day that the guy, he was helping somebody at the track, and they didn't know what tire to use or something, and it was Dalton Myers, I think. We got a good feedback from him helping some drivers, and yeah, it was great. That's what you're supposed to do. You're helping people, they're struggling, not getting things right, and he gave him some tires to try and got him on the right track, showed him what to do. And pretty soon they're like, man, it turned their day completely around.
Yeah. And they could be J-Concepts for life after that. Could be.
Yeah. So it is. It's something that drivers today really struggle. If you're an older school driver, you understand kind of what it was about or what it is about. You've kind of been down that road, and probably helped a ton of people along the way. But today it's such a
the only thing I help people with is make a decision on not to get what I'm driving.
Yeah, you just basically reassure them.
Yeah. Oh, he's running. Gotti's running that. Oh yeah, let's stay away from that. Anything that clown's running.
Clown.
Just go the opposite way. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it is a. So anyway, that's what we're looking for. And we have a great community of J-Concepts drivers on Facebook. We chat about the product if need be. Guys, we get people to submit their weekly results. We promote their weekly results. So we're trying to make them feel special and make them feel a part of a team. And we go through great lengths to do that. So what you're asking for in return is that they help spread the love and get people interested in the product. That's what we're asking for.
And it has to be all nice and neat, and it has to be in a binder or a right?
Well, you can submit via email these days. But...
Oh, that's not. If you really want to get done right, you got to mail it in to Jason, and have some gift cards in there from to Starbucks. That will help.
I think today's day, what you want is something more concise that explains yourself in some bullet points, where you're going, where you've been, what you want to accomplish, what races you're going to, and how you can help us and how you can promote and help sell product. That's what it is.
Question from Chili Duncan. Chili, get me those RC car auctions. Do it.
Do it now.
Do it now. You do it now, man. Who is the best movie actor to come from Australia? Examples would be Hugh Jackman, Chris Hemsworth, Heath Ledger, Guy Pearce, Hugo Weaving, Paul Hogan. Oh, Jason didn't say Paul Hogan.
Hell yeah.
And Mel Gibson. Paul Hogan. He answered that already. Same question now for the ladies. Examples would be Kate Blanchett, Nicole Kidman, Naomi Watts, Margot Robbie. I don't know how to pronounce all these. I don't know. I'm not good with movies and stuff. Who cares? All right, prediction. Chili's prediction. My dark horse is Tebow for one last title. But otherwise, sorry, JC fans. I think David Ongaro gets it done for AE this year. Ongaro. Okay. What do you think of that?
It's a good.
Ongaro. David Ongaro. The dark horse is dark. How do you like that? Dark horse is Tebow for one last title. One last title was Tebow retiring.
Well, I think the rumor was he was going to retire after this year, but I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay.
I think what he's alluding to that if he could win this year, he probably
would step down.
Well, maybe not so. Maybe not even that. Is I think what he's also alluding to is that he's getting to the point where at the next Worlds he probably doesn't have the window is closing.
Oh.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Chili, Tebow is on the TB12 program, the pliability program, so he's going to be around for a while. Tebow plans to race until he's 45.
You know what? This Heath Ledger as a great actor from Australia, man, he's probably way up there. Hugh Jackman, he's got.
I don't know nothing.
He's the guy that was from that movie Real Steel, right? Did you ever see that with the robots? Real cool, like kids movie.
I might have fast forwarded that. Look at that, yeah.
Yeah, you might have. I actually like all those guys. A lot of the people he mentioned there.
I didn't know all these people were from Australia. That's interesting.
Man,
what the hell? They're producing some actors. What's going on?
I know. How about Olivia Newton-John?
Where's that at? Oh yeah, yeah.
Who was she? Was she in Greece? Is that who it was?
Oh man, you're asking the wrong guy. I know nothing about movies. Other than Michael Myers is awesome, Jason's awesome.
God. Oh, you know who this is?
Let's
look at this. Singer, songwriter, actress. She starred in the musical film Grease. See, I told you.
Oh, there you go. See, you know your movies. Good job. All right, Jason, thoughts on the track layout and surface conditions from a tire choice point of view?
It's hard to say until you actually see it in person. The track looks a little square to me in pictures, like the actual layout. A lot of tracks are rectangular-ish. This one looks a little more square, just in the photos, but it always is different when you show up. But
be there or be square. 2018 IFMAR Worlds.
The track, when I saw the last time I saw photos, it looked really busy.
Busy.
It just looks like there's just jumps and bumps and
too much going on.
It looked very off-roady.
Oh, well, how dare they?
I know, that's crazy.
Wow.
Let's take a look here. See if they got any.
Right.
See if they got any photos up.
Look
at that. Pete Phillips got his trophy today.
Oh wow, you did send them out.
See?
Yeah. Great.
I'm on it, dude.
You're making me look bad. I take forever to send stuff out. Allow 3 to 4 weeks for deliveries.
At least.
Look at that. And Dobie's there. That's his dog, Dobie.
Mm-hmm.
The Dobinator, I call him.
The Dobinator.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's from a tire choice standpoint. Again, that's really hard to say at this point. I wish I could look at it and, predict, but and I can do that to a reasonable level, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something we're just going to have to look at when we get there.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate to just throw out too many just ridiculous.
Seems like every 2 years, the lead up to the A scale IFMAR Worlds is surrounded by controversy that has nothing to do with racing, but leads to issues on the track. This year's event has been really quiet. Has there been anything noteworthy that will later impact the racers attending?
There's always something, like you said. I think lots of times it's a little bit more overblown. Like last time, the Worlds, they were talking about wings forever.
Wings, okay.
The rear wings, there was a new rule about, or a rule they started enforcing about wing side dam size.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking at pictures of the track here now. So that was a big controversy. That took many days. I remember manufacturers were involved. The testmans were involved. I mean, it was pretty serious. But it's not like, I don't know. It was a better story for the internet than it was being there in person.
Mm-hmm.
Personally.
That's usually the case with stuff like that.
What happens is there's a hot topic or a hot button at all this type of stuff. And then one of the media outlets will report the story as like this big controversy surrounding the Worlds. And then it turns in, and then everybody and their brother is online with their opinions on, what's going on. And that's what makes it a big controversy, is because it makes it to the internet, and then everybody's got they have to weigh in with their 2 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this race, there will be something. I don't know what it is, but there will be something.
Yeah.
There always is. And to me, I try to stay away from it because it's just kind of draining. So unless it's directly affecting us. I mean, the wing thing did directly affect us last year too, or last time. But it's just kind of like you try to make the adjustments on the fly, and you just keep racing. I mean, it's pretty simple, honestly. I remember we took care of what we needed to do with the wings, and everybody was running. So
it's been quiet though, huh?
It has, and I think that's just, there's been a little quietness in the industry, in this segment, because there's a lot of people are knocking on the rule window. You know what I mean? That's usually what it comes down to, is, oh, that's not legal.
Okay.
That's where the controversies usually come from, and there'll be something, I'm sure, but I try not to get too involved, because, man, that stuff can really ruin the race and the experience for everybody if you get too deep in it. And, at the same time, you want to go there. You want your guys to do the best they can, and you have to try to minimize the ups and downs as much as possible. And then peak at the right time. That's what everything comes down to, is getting your stuff together in those last couple rounds of qualifying. You're feeling good about what you're doing. You run the semifinal, and you look and you have your stuff cooking. then you're a factor going into the mains. That's really all that matters, is really the last day and a half. That's what really everything comes down to, is the last day and a half. Up till then is just all the internet BS, and
Yeah.
you know, there'll be some new products. People, have to determine if who copied who, and you know what I mean. Like, that's all the beginning BS and people trying to be involved. But yeah, going back to the track, this is a busy track, and I've said this to a few people, and it reminds me of a more complicated Florida track, is what it really reminds me of. The jumps are shaped better than what we normally have in Florida here, but it's very busy, and it doesn't look very big to me. It looks a little narrow and a little tight, and I think that is going to be a big factor, because this is where you're going to have to be very good technically with your driving skill, and that obviously the fast guys are the fast guys, but it does favor drivers. When different surfaces and layouts favor different drivers. So, like when this right away, I look at this thing and I start thinking, man, if this thing gets grooved up, and you start thinking of guys like Ryan Cavallari and the Jared Tebows and people that excel on this kind of stuff. I think the track has to get very rough for Tebow to start to excel personally. And I think it can be, God, it's kind of hard to put some of these guys in a corner. Like, I wanted to start saying that Cavallari was, it was going to favor a certain direction, but then it's like, the last Worlds he should have started on the pole and the track was really rough. So some of these guys just have no restraints, really. They're not limited. It really comes down to who has the best program. Really comes down to who has got the best program and peaks at the right time. I like the way this track looks, though. I'm actually kind of excited about the way it looks.
Just a reminder for Jason, Aussies use 240 power supply.
I saw that. What's weird is these days is you really charge your phone, and that's really, for Thomas charging his camera equipment, we charge our phones, So. Pete Phillips is asking any side trips or touristy plans. I think Allison was trying to incorporate one thing before we leave. And
before you leave.
Yeah, like she was asking me one day about when, okay, if we fly out and we have, she's like, if we have 8 hours at an airport, would you leave the airport?
We're like, no.
I was like, oh man. I'm like, I don't want to be there 8 hours. Like, to her, she's like, all right, we could squeeze in, like, go over here for 8 hours, Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be there 8 hours. Let's get out of there. But I told her I didn't care. I mean, if we get to do that, that's fine. But to be honest, at the end of 10 days, man, you're going to want to be out of there.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't do good in the race. If you do well, you'll be like, party, right? Almond McLean said, when you're done building an RC car, do you just pick it up and stare at it for an hour?
No.
Sort of, yeah. Probably not as much as I used to, but man,
Yeah, I think as a kid I did.
Yeah.
I was always amazed.
There'd be times I'd put my car on my nightstand. Go to sleep and that thing's right there when you wake up. Hey, car, how you doing, buddy? Thing is, it's got to be your buddy, man. Those things, that's your connection. You really should put your radio and your car on your nightstand. Got to have a really good working relationship with those two.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Um,
What else you got here?
has Ernie from Trinity been on the show? Which he has. I really enjoy this Ernie stories, some funny stuff.
Yeah, I have to upload. That was one of the episodes that was lost. But actually, that episode, I can't even remember when we interviewed him. It was so long ago. And it was just me, though. Jason was out of town somewhere. Kirby couldn't be on. So Ernie wants to be back on the show, but he'll only come on the show if you are on the show and Kirby,
Okay.
along with me. He doesn't want to just, he feels like you guys you skipped out on him.
Yeah.
He felt
I
really
remember
hurt.
when he was supposed to be on, and yeah, there was some reason I couldn't be on that day.
Yeah, and Kirby, I don't know where the hell he was at, playing flag football or softball or something. But this time, if I schedule Ernie, you gotta be there.
Mm-hmm.
So
He also says the new Ellipse tires are awesome. Any plans for matching fronts? Yes.
ooh,
Yes. Um, Stitcher has about 10 RIP shows on it. Are the rest of the shows out there somewhere?
yeah, I answered him in there.
Okay. Late to the podcast game, so I've missed several shows. Then he's got 2019 driver team discount. Not discount, gossip.
You're as bad as I am reading these things.
Yeah, no, I told you. Yeah, there's a lot of gossip. Whew.
Yeah,
Um,
like all these team moves and
Yeah.
who's going where, and
I know one thing is Mayfield's contract is not up, so he's kind of he's not going anywhere.
can he demand a trade?
No. So I know one thing's for sure. He's, as far as I know.
So we got Mayfield locked up pretty much on the J Concepts end, or the chassis end too.
No, I think what I was referring to was mostly the chassis end of things.
Okay.
That and yeah, that type of stuff. So his contract is still active. Cavallari is open. He's a free agent, so to speak. Spencer Rivkin is. Dustin Evans is. I've heard Ty Tessman's name being thrown out there, but I don't think that he's up for anything.
Oh, really? He just signed, didn't he? Like last.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago, and
Oh, it's been 2 years already. Wow.
probably this is the end of 2 years coming up. And so I
And
don't
that's
think
typically
he's,
the contracts, 2 years.
not always. Some of the longer ones, 3, 4. I think Tebow's had a 5-year contract with Kyosho, maybe twice. I know Mayfield's had 3 and 4 year deals.
Are those guys kind of reluctant? They really don't want to sign a 5-year deal because they kind of want that,
Flexibility.
Yeah, you figure like 3 years max. 3 years max would probably be it for me. Like I would be like, I want that flexibility to make a switch if I want to.
It's just like everything. What
Is
I've
there
noticed.
can he opt out anytime?
No.
Like, do you write those in at all?
No, they don't have that type of stuff.
This isn't sports, like
No.
NBA or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought maybe you'd write in like, hey, we'll sign you to a 5-year deal, but you can opt out after 3, and explore your options and restricted free agent, unrestricted.
Yeah, I think part of these contracts is it's just you handle it just like you would if you, and a lot of it is handled like if you were a sports athlete, from a sense of when you're young you probably sign short-term deals because you're thinking you're going to get better in advance and you don't want to put yourself in a corner, right?
Yeah.
But the older you get, you want to sign longer deals because you're unsure of your
Yeah,
ability
how much longer.
your ability to hang around. So I think that is exactly the same.
I'd be nervous signing a long-term one because you get on a team and certain things aren't being done your way, or they're not making changes that you want, or you're not getting along with anybody or something. At least you can get out in 2. Guess there's only a select few of those guys out there to have to worry about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is very few. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of gossip out there. I mean, I'm a little too, in a sense, I'm a little too connected to kind of say what
Yeah,
to say what my opinions are, because I know a little more than most, I guess you could say.
Right.
So anything that I would say might come across as fact, I guess. But those guys are all looking around, and those are the guys I think of off the top of my head that are in moving situations, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody starts off thinking big, like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And, everyone's kind of talks tough. But then when push comes to shove, a lot of these guys tend to fall back to where they're most comfortable. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that.
Now, when you sign a driver, like if I was to become, I send my resume into you and I'm driving JC, is that for a year? Or do I get...
Yeah.
So every year I got to reapply?
Yeah, I'd say over half of our agreements with drivers are for a year. And they probably should be longer. It would make it a little bit easier on everyone here. But, but that's how we do it.
Yeah. I throw this question out in chat, like, how do you know that it's paying off for you to be sponsoring this driver, that driver, whatever? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know it's paying off?
Yeah, there's not really any hardcore data supporting some of these things. Sometimes it's a gut feeling that you have about some guys. And there are times where you have the feel good stories too, where you've actually been around certain drivers enough to know that they're getting the job done for you. So it's a tough subject.
Mm-hmm.
We are somewhat unique in this business that we are racing. We have a team, and I say we like as an industry. Some team drivers they don't get everything for free. It's like partial sponsorships but you're still a part of the same team. You still have access to people, information, products, things, at a much different level than people that aren't. So there is some good in the bad, and you have the chance to improve, and I think that's a big part of it. But like I said earlier, it comes down to can you influence? Can you get the job done on the track? Can you influence people? Do you understand the reason to be sponsored? And knowing those things, it goes a long way.
Now, do I have to report into you every so often on what I'm doing, how I'm doing, or do I just post on Facebook, hey, I ran this race and I did this?
Well, I think that's sometimes what people think is enough, but what we've been doing recently, the last 2 years, I guess you could say, one of Thomas's things that we have him doing is every week we ask on our team page, hey, how'd the week go? How did the weekend? What was the racing like? Update us on your results and what happened. And those people that give us the information on a continued basis, we really enjoy that, because that is actually our connection to how they're doing out there in the field. If you don't
make sure these guys are being active too.
Yeah, activity is a huge part of this, and that's another topic we can bring up down, like towards the end, is something I was thinking about the other day with that. But Yeah, what we do is we ask people for their results, how they're doing. It's not so much that we're just like, oh, did you win? It's more like, hey, are you out there? Are you racing? Are you, what are you liking product wise at your track? And, what's going on? And sure, if you win or podium, then, shoot us a photo. And, that's something that I've been doing ever since we started J Concepts is we've been really reported, if that's a word, on our driver results. I remember doing it at home, writing race reports, putting them up on our old website, and I didn't even know that. Back then, I wasn't even looking at like Red RC and Neo Buggy and all this stuff. I didn't even look at any of that stuff. I didn't care. I just posted what I thought needed to be posted for us, and showing what people were doing. And later on, I had people started telling me that it's like, man, you guys are doing all these, you're updating and talking about race results and reports, and you guys got all this stuff. And I'm like, it's like, yeah, no, everybody doesn't do that. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, well. So anyway, we've tried to make it a point over time to report on how the things are going. And then, so the flow used to go, racer to us, to the website, to the news outlets. But now we're kind of going racer to our Facebook group with Thomas. Thomas compiles the results, looks over everything, makes a complete story, and highlights different guys each week, depending on how they, did, or, just whatever the segment was. Maybe it was interesting. And, we read through them and get an idea of who's doing what and what product they're using. And it's been pretty valuable, and it keeps us on our toes and keeps us watching. And sometimes people can't BS you, lots of times there's probably a time where people come up and talk to you about, I've been to certain tracks, and people start to tell you that they've been racing and doing different stuff, and you're just like, I don't ever see you race. It's like, hey, I'm checking a lot of stuff out there. I'm looking around, and I don't see you. So there's some people that BS you.
So with today's technology, it's so much easier for you to keep up on this, though, too, compared to back in the day.
Yeah, it is.
To make sure these guys are doing their thing.
It is, yeah. Mm. And I think it's important that people see that when they do have results and they are part of the team, that they can see that those results are being promoted from our standpoint.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of work to do what we're doing. I mean, it's a ton of Thomas's time, and I look at it, and we're all involved, and, from our passion about racing, from me to Paul and Thomas and the guys we have, it's a lot of work to do that stuff, make it look cool and make graphics. And, it's like, people think that stuff magically happens, but it's a lot of work. People don't think, people think when you get an RC job that you go in somewhere and you just start playing with cars all day. And, it's like,
not true.
A lot of times it's you go into work, you put your headphones on, and you're on your computer, and you got to get some work done. It's
a job. It's a job.
Yeah, you got to get stuff done. You happen to be passionate about it, but you can't just sit there for 3 hours working on your cars and talking about last weekend's race, and then you're like, all right, well, time, I'm going to leave here pretty soon and go race. It's like, that's not really a job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a racer.
We bust you about it, but I realize that, definitely. It was a job.
Mm-hmm.
It was a job. It's a Monday through Friday grind, and then if you went somewhere on the weekends to race, you went racing, then Monday you're right back at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get people that talk to us, and they'll be like, hey, I just was checking to see if you guys have any openings for a job, because I could go out and do any of those events that you that you
Yeah, that's me. What are you talking about? That's me.
that you want me to go to, and I can travel and I can race and do all that stuff for you. And you're like,
Yeah.
I bet you can. I bet you can. It's like, you know who else could do it? Me, but I can't because I have to work.
You know, it's a tough thing when you turn something in, you know, what you love, you know, especially you guys doing it on the weekends, you're racing, you know, and then when you turn it into your job, that's a tough thing, actually. Like you said, everybody thinks it's easy, and it's like, but when you turn your hobby into your job,
Mm-hmm.
that is a tough thing.
What it
Man.
ruins your hobby. That's what ends up happening.
Absolutely.
I've told people that a lot is, you know, when they start working, I'm like, you know, I said, you realize what happens in this is once you start getting involved in this is you have to have an extreme amount of dedication to the rate to RC to do it for work and turn around and want to do it right back again for racing. And at first they don't understand, but then they understand pretty quickly once they get into it. You know how it is.
And it's a tough, like, all joking aside with you, you know how we joke around with you and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I realize the responsibility you have. I mean, you got a whole company there, you got employees, you got to worry about everything. But you know, also when you're working there, you're doing it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at the office. And then, you know, you got to go to a track and race. Let's say on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever you're doing. And then, like I said, turn right back around Monday. So really, you could almost be doing this 7 days a week.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it is. I mean,
and you could burn out.
Oh yeah.
You could definitely burn out.
Yeah, I've had it happen. I think everybody has it happen occasionally, and it's not even so much like you burn out; you just like wire out. I don't know what the difference between the two is, but I think what ends up sometimes happens, and this could be anything, doesn't have to be RC, is when everybody wants to return the pressure back to you. It's like, hey, are we doing this? Hey, are we doing that? Are we going to do this? And we got this coming up. And, you know, hey, have you thought about this before? And that's everybody's questions to me, you know. Mm-hmm. And so you have to kind of manage the wiring out part of it because constantly everybody wants to put it on you. And, you know, if you had a bad race, you know, last week, and what are we going to do about this? All right, well, that's not, you know, now somebody's transferring that to me, you know. Oh, well, this product isn't doing well. What are we going to do about that? Well, that transfers back, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's kind of the tough part about this is because a lot of things get directed back to somebody that's just part of being in charge, I guess.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about that?
Yeah.
Hey,
what are we going to do about
we just came back from that race. Did you get the report? Are you guys going to do a report? I'll do that too. Don't worry about it. Hey, have you updated the points? Are we getting a new body this week? When's the new tire coming out?
Yeah, what's going on? When are we going to be in stock? Hurry up.
Mm-hmm. It's all the same thing. But anyway, enough of our crying.
Any plans to release the Ellipse in R2, O2, and Y2 as seen at Hot Rod Hobby Shootout?
Yes. I believe we're going to do blue and R2 compound. And if we need to go harder than that, we can O2 and Y2. But I think we'll definitely have blues and R2s. To start off with, we wanted to make sure we had golds. That's by far the most popular for racing these days. And then we wanted to have greens and blacks because people love the super soft stuff. And then we'll kind of work backwards towards the harder compounds because they're by far the least popular, I'll say. but they're needed at certain tracks, but they're just not. It's not as common. Like that'll be like the time they ran the Hot Rod Shootout and they ran Y2s. That'll be the only time all year that the Ryans and those guys will run that compound. Yeah. So you can see like that priority for us is very low because there's not many tracks like that.
With rumors of Proline discontinuing X2 compound 10 scale tires, does making harder compound hybrids 3Ds and double Ds make sense, or is the outdoor dry track 10 scale market just too small?
It is very small, but I think we do have an option in the works that I think is going to. What we have is over a period of years, we haven't discontinued a lot of product. So we have a little bit of a buildup of pin tires on our lineup, like double Ds, 3Ds, hybrids, reflexes. We have like 4 or 5 pin tires that we made at one point or another, starting in 2007. So we have a buildup of some of these. And so the idea for 2019 is that we're going to try to replace 2 or 3 of those tires with a new tire, 2.2, but available in a couple other compounds. So we'll be able to kind of get what he's looking for, but we're going to do it with a different tread.
Okay. Yeah, because Andrew says, I run JC tires as much as I can, but sometimes I unfortunately have to run other companies' pin tires when I need a harder compound.
Yeah.
So you're going to help him out there?
Yeah, and I see what he's talking about. Maybe he's, he can get some X compounds or AKAs or something that are a little harder, that when you need that harder tire, he's probably on accurate for doing that. So, but yeah, I think with this plan we have going into next year, we already have the tire in our hand. We're just doing a little testing. So, yeah, got some good stuff there for 10 scale off road.
Andrew's a good guy. All right. Why is there such a discrepancy in surfaces when it comes to 8 scale versus 10 scale?
I think that comes down to it being the primarily racing outdoors. There's not as many indoor nitro events. So when you go outdoors, you have so many different surfaces. And then when you go to different states, all the dirt's different. So that's why there's so many different surfaces in 8 scale outdoor racing. And then I think the prep just comes down to what is reasonable, what the weather had in store. And that's probably the most important things for how the surface comes out. And the 8 scale cars, they're not as temperamental when it comes to the track surface. So them being 4-wheel drive, being larger, you can get away with a lot more. Like if the track just rained, you can go out there a lot sooner. If the track is really bumpy or blown out, it's easier to get around with an 8 scale. Easier to get around with an 8 scale than it is with a 10 scale car. And so
well, I guess you answered that then, because he's like, well, he says, does size and weight of the 8 scale racing affect the surface?
Yeah.
Impact, yeah. So.
And I think what's happened in 10 scale is the main, let's just throw a number out there and say 75% of the racing is indoors with clay tracks or carpet or astroturf. And right there, that means they're all fairly smooth and built somewhat the same way. So, but with 8 scale, you go outside, all the dirt's different, people build tracks differently, they're different sizes. There's so many variables. That's why, in my opinion, 8 scale is a lot different. Now, if we race 10 scale more outside, like we do in Florida, the tracks are a lot different. they are bumpy. They change with the temperature. They change with the weather. All the things that happen in 8 scale happen out there too. But people, in 2018, it's just not as common to race 10 scale outside anymore. And and that's actually where it's the best, to be honest. You can open the cars up. I mean, when we were just racing at Mills Pond a couple weeks ago, it was amazing being able to drive the car fast, big jumps, and the car was great to drive. But it's a lot of conditioning with the tracks being indoors, and then the surfaces are controlled by the track owners who want to make it easy for them. So lots of times these tracks change to running slick tires because it's easy to keep the track like that. And then the racers have to adapt to slicks, and then that's what you got. Personally, I hate slicks. I think that's like the worst racing in off-road is on slicks. I think today's off-road is the bar-style tires worn in a little bit, and when you're done with the weekend, you got like a little bit of a bald patch in the rear tire, but you still can see a lot of tread. To me, that's off-road indoor racing now. Not that it's amazing, but that's probably our version of off-road for 10 scale. We race outside when we just did that. We were still running bar-style tires. They wear quicker outside in the sun, but it's a different feel. The car has a different feel. Very rarely do you have tracks anymore where you're running like a monster pin.
I remember those.
Yeah, it's just you just don't. Even when the tracks are like wet or loamy now, you still run a smaller pin tire because they actually work better. Like, I think back then in those days on these these dirt tracks, they ran tires because that's what they had. People always talk about these big spikes and all that stuff, but that was also what was made back then. So it's not that something else wouldn't be better, but it's like that's we were just talking about this at Tampa. We were there running 8 scale over the weekend. We were running 8 scale. I was running e-buggy, and people were talking about the track, and I was like, hey, I was here in 1992, and I remember Cliff Lett running Schumacher mini pins on his 2-wheel or Losi 4 rows. Those were his 2 tires. And he was in those Schumacher mini pins are the same exact tires they sell today that you run on AstroTurf.
Good Lord.
It's the same tire. They made them for dirt. People think they made those tires, but at the time, I believe they made them for dirt.
Wow.
And it was a good tire on dirt in those days.
I think I had those.
I'm sure you did. They were really popular.
Schumacher.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go on to the next question?
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going on to your page here now. You shared the post, and you got a lot of questions in there. We gotta hit these up, or we're gonna be here all night.
Yeah, no kidding.
Will there be a new pair of Jordans worn, and are you hanging around after to see the sights? Well, you kind of answered that one, but yeah, will you have a new pair of Jordans for this race? Are you gonna go out there and buy a new pair for this?
I actually was on eBay the other day looking for something, but I didn't. I have something. Yeah, I got something I'll wear. They're still gonna be fresh.
Get yourself some LeBrons.
I think he's got a new one.
Oh, we got a new question here. Jason, how do you not pick a favorite driver? Much like having children, how do you not pick a favorite driver? Who's your favorite driver, Jason? And come on. And then who is Jason's dark horse or long shot pick?
Well, I think it's pretty fair to say that my favorite driver is Mayfield. Just because of he goes back the longest with J Concepts.
Yeah.
So,
It's
but
hard though.
But that doesn't mean that. I mean, when Spencer's running, I'm right there in the car with him. When Cavallari's running, or
You're in the car?
yeah, like
In the car.
Figure of speech.
Okay, gotcha. Pull a rabbit out of the top of your head.
So, yeah, I mean, it's always great to see Mayfield win because, from the standpoint of he's been with you a long time, and people, it's like the Golden State Warriors. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
You can. It's like you can say, "Hey, we drafted Mayfield." You know what I mean? Like, something to that effect.
That's true.
And
we did.
And then but if you sign a guy to go out there and get you wins, like you're Kevin Durant, it's like it's you want him to deliver, but it's at the same time it's like, yeah, we signed this guy to deliver.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, you have favorites because of maybe the length of stay or some things that you have in common or something. But at the end of the day, you want to see these guys win. I mean, when David Ronefalk won the Nitro Challenge this year, I was pumped. Mayfield was in the race, doing well with him. But David won, and I was happy because he beat Robert Battle, probably one of the best, if not the best, 8-scale driver ever. And so, yeah, you're pumped up. It's just you just want your guys to be able to race up to their capability. That's what it all really comes down to. And you're happy when you see them race to their capability. When you see them underperform, then you're just not happy about it because you feel like somehow you let them down or something.
You have a dark horse pick? Long shot?
Oh, man, there's probably a lot. But I think that Kyle McBride has a possibility to win. To me, he would be the dark horse. Because, I mean, what is Mayfield a dark horse? No, not really. Ty Tessman or any – those guys really aren't dark horses.
Group.
They're like kind of favorites, right? And if one of those guys wins, there's going to be a handful of people like, oh, yeah, that was my pick to win. Right? So it's like, I would say that Kyle McBride, he's been running for Associated for about 3, maybe more years now. And he's won a lot of races in Australia, and he's very good on the world level. But if things go his way, he might be able to win the thing. I think a few things do have to go his way for him to win, just because of the level of drivers. But
it could be done. Kyle McBride.
I mean, if you look at the names, it's staggering, really.
What do we have for entries?
It'll be maxed out. Whatever the max number is, I'm sure they'll be. They limit it, so it's probably 200 and something. I wouldn't.
Okay. All right.
We got Zach Ryan says, we've seen a lot of host clubs struggle after holding a world championships. What more can be done to help the club at a major meeting like this, and how much of the entry fee goes directly to the club? Well, of course, I think these clubs. First of all, it costs. I think it costs quite a bit to put these races on, and they really, to be honest, they don't really get enough money to do these races. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to put these races on for the host track, and I think if you're doing a Worlds because you think it's going to benefit you monetarily, then you're probably doing it for the wrong reasons. the only way to keep your track going is to have a successful local following. That's the only way to do it. You can't depend on these big races like the Worlds to come in and save the day for you.
Well, how would it do that? They're not gonna. I mean, obviously these guys aren't gonna be buying anything at your shop.
Yeah, it's strictly something you do to say we've done it as a club, and I think that's a lot of people get off on that idea that their goals to host the Worlds, they got it done, and then they're like, oh, I'm kind of over this.
Yeah.
And so
that was like the curse of Roar at one time. Like when a track would have a Roar Nationals, it closed up not too long after that.
Yeah, and
back in the day.
And I think that probably still could be true today also, but I don't think that it's so much that it's because Roar sucks anything out of the event. I think it's because they lose their whole motivation to keep it going.
Yep.
And so it's not like Roar comes in and all of a sudden sucks all this life, or Ifmar comes in and sucks all this life out of your track. I think the people burn out trying to appease those events, and then they are the ones that shut it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's what you have to weigh when you're doing these type of things, is say, hey, this is going to be good publicity for our track, but let's take that publicity and turn it into more success down the road. I think people sometimes feel like success means hosting the Worlds or hosting the Roar Nationals, and then you've made it. But that's actually kind of the opposite. It's the people that have made it for a period of time without doing that kind of stuff are the ones that are really successful. And you can pick probably all these tracks that have done that type of thing, and they all suffer from the same thing. They do it for ego reasons, which is fine. I'd probably do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go, hey, is this my long-term goal? Or is my long-term goal to really make this a long-term success? I think people are like, they just had the Roar Nationals in Florida for 8 scale. Track is awesome. My favorite track, probably one of my favorite tracks to visit right now. Probably my 3 favorite tracks now is Southside, Coral Springs, and Mills Pond. And then you got Lake Park, Newberry, RC probably after that. And they went all out for the Roar Nationals, and they pulled it off. They had some problems with weather. They had some people that were kind of razzing them, causing them some issues before the race, and they made it through all that. They had a great Roar Nationals, but since then you can see that there's been a little bit of a hangover almost, because they got through the big race.
Yep.
And then it feels like, all right, we accomplished our goal. We got through the big race. But really, it's what you do with that later that really kind of matters. And that's where I think it kind of fails people. So, anyway.
So, how much of the entry fee goes directly to the club?
I honestly don't know that number. I should know, but for some reason I just haven't really been involved on that end, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I do think that the track gets the sponsorship money. So, like, if you have that's where things used to be so good in the old days, where you could get I remember Richard Saxon, we've talked about this before, when he hosted the Worlds in Las Vegas, he said he got, was it $80,000 or $90,000 in sponsorship money and he was like the track, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His position was like, I'm the track, he's the track. And he got $80,000 or $90,000 from sponsors to host the Worlds. And then Ifmar did the entries and ran the race. He built the track and maintained it. And he said when it was all said and done, he still had $6,000 of his own money in it. Which tells you the story right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he did it for his own reasons. He did it because to say he did it. And probably some ego reasons, and he knows that today. He probably knew it a little bit then, and he did pull it off. And he did it in Vegas. All right, what else we got? I got Greg Degani on here, but he's just so bitter and old with all of his stuff. It's like, can't even really like give his questions any credibility. He is very knowledgeable in person, but on the internet, man, oof.
Okay. Ah, poor Greg. Rob Sturgill. Is there a Starbucks in Perth?
I hope so.
I have to look that up.
I think I might be on the coffee wagon. I think I might drink coffee with Allison.
What?
Yeah, I never drink coffee, but sometimes on these trips, I just might.
Don't forget, it acts like a laxative, so be careful.
Oh, gross.
JQ, water or no water?
I like races where they don't water the line of the racing line. I think it's fine to water the insides and the outsides whenever you want. But watering the racing line really kind of causes some inconsistencies. And we're going to have that. They're going to water here every 4 runs according to their schedule. And that's what you're going to hear. That's going to be, actually, now that we think about it, that's going to be the controversy.
There you go.
Will be this watering thing because it is a big deal. Like if you get a dry track after 4 runs versus a freshly watered track, there's a big difference. And in IFMAR, at a lot of the road races, you're sorted, all the fast guys are sorted together for the A qualifier. You know, like the Roar Nationals, you have seeding, and then your top 10 fastest seeding times are together in a qualifier. Well, in IFMAR, they take like the top, I want to say it's like the top 50 drivers from seeding, and then you're sporadically placed in like the first 5 or 6 heats. So like not all the fastest guys are in the very first race, but they're all within the top 5 races. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how they do it at the Worlds. And that's going to play a big factor here because there's going to be rounds. And of course, you have multiple rounds of qualifying, so everyone's going to get their fair share of the watering system. So, say the first round of qualifying goes through, and let's just say, for argument's sake, that Angaro's the top seed, and he's car number 1, race 1, or however they decide to do it. Maybe he's car 1 in the last race, whatever. And if they water the track for his race, there's going to be guys that didn't seed as well as him that have a different track condition. And that's going to be a huge difference. So you're going to hear guys at the Worlds going, well, I got 7th that round, but I was on the water track, and I thought that was pretty good for the round considering I had the wet track. It was slower. So-and-so TQ'd, but he had the dry track. So that's what you're going to hear. And then when you start to get closer to semifinals, is then you're going to be racing on the same track. So it's not going to matter as much. But qualifying, you're going to have a little bit of inconsistency. So that's where it opens the door for guys that, you might get a little better track 2 or 3 qualifiers in a row, and all of a sudden you look like you're like the guy to beat. But you might have had a little bit of a track advantage. But then when things start to equal out, you get in into the mains, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, everybody's right with this guy. So that's what you're going to see a lot of. So for my picks,
yeah, what do you got?
I would say if there was such a thing as coming in to an event like as a favorite. I think David Ungaro is the favorite.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Ungaro.
he's had a Davide, I think is technically how you say his name, but
How you say it?
Davide.
Oh, okay.
But
Interesting.
he's been hot all year, and as Paul says, he's been destroying people here and there. And he has. He's had a phenomenal year racing. And, man, when people are peaking and you're young and you got a lot of confidence, it's hard to beat. So I would say he's right up there at the top of the power rankings. Then Ronald Falk is going to be tough. He's a defending champion. He's going to be laying it all on the line. I mean,
Trying to go back to back.
yeah. I mean, nobody. I don't think that anybody's gone back to back that I remember. And
No, I'm
so
looking at past results, and I do not see it.
it's a possibility that he's right up there. And then you got who was kind of the hot guy early in the year, which was Robert Battle. Kind of like I always say, hey, you know,
The 2012 winner.
yeah, he is an amazing 8-scale racer. Probably doesn't get enough credit, to be honest, with everybody else, but that guy is awesome. And so I'd say those three are going to be very close to the top. Then I think Tessman, then Mayfield. I think that's the top 5 contenders. And then from there,
Why did Americans struggle at this race? From what I noticed here.
eh,
And when we have one, it hasn't been in the United States. So I'm looking at results. This is from Live RC, and this is the only thing I could find. It had some interesting facts here, like how many world championships by country, by chassis. So I'm just looking at the past results, and 2016 was Ron Falk, right?
Yep.
So then it was Ty Tessman in 2014. That's for Canada, people, not USA. And then Robert Battle in 2012, and then Cody King, 2010. 2008 at Sushi Hara from Japan. 2006, Mark Pavidis. USA, Kyosho. That was in Indonesia.
That's right.
And the rest of these names I can't pronounce. Oh, wait a minute. Here's Greg Degani. 2002 winner.
Yep.
Kyosho. And then the rest of these names, I'm not even going to attempt. From 2000 to 98, 96, 94. Can't even pronounce them. So not many U.S. drivers. What's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, when you kind of look at it, so you go back to 02 and Degani won. So
Yep,
we have Degani was American. Mark Pavidis was an American. Cody King was an American. So that's 3.
We got 3.
And then Ty Tessman's Canadian. So that's 4. They're Roar racers.
Well, then when you look at it by country, Japan was in the lead with 4. Italy 3 and US 3 were tied. So I guess that's not that bad.
Right.
Yeah, I guess
that's kind of what I
as,
think. I think Degani, because Degani's very boisterous about, and on a lot of these questions, he just keeps saying the Americans are going to suck and all this type of stuff. Which, yeah, I think he's just old and bitter. But I think the reason, I don't really know the right way to say this, but
so in 86 or 86 started the Worlds.
And And to be honest,
And
Americans didn't compete that regularly till probably the late 90s or mid 90s.
okay,
I want to say I remember Mark Pavidis going to his first one in like 94 or something like that.
okay. So we'll
Uh,
knock off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So you're looking at 10 years or 10 championships, and we won 3 of them.
yeah. I I think that the guys from the US hold their own. But I do think there's a little bit lost on the US drivers' end because their very best guys race more than one class. So I think that's what people don't bring up, or like a Degani doesn't give these guys enough credit for. But you look at this top 25 RC list that we reference from time to time, and we got Ungaro at the top, Ty Tessman second, Rona Falk, Tebow, Mayfield, Boots, Cavallari, Rivkin's your top 8. Robert Battle 9. Well, if you take Ty Tessman, he's Canadian, but I mean for all intents and purposes, he's an American racer. He runs all the American races. So every race.
Ty's like, how dare you?
Yeah,
Canada's like, how dare you?
Yeah, I mean, but in terms of, it's like, hey, Steve Nash, Steve Nash is Canadian, but he played in the NBA,
Right?
and he competed, and I think he went to college in the United States, right? Or did he? Yeah, I think he went to college in the United States.
Yeah, you just assume he's from the. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's why I said to you, Ty Tessman people are from Canada.
Yeah.
Because you would think, we won one in 2014. USA won. Nope. But
yeah, I consider him an American.
You consider him American.
A racer, I guess. I don't know. It's
yeah, I know what you're saying.
It is. It's hard to say that, but and not completely disrespect the situation. But hey, he's traveled to the U.S. to hone and race the other Americans his whole career. So it's like, I mean, to be honest, his skills are probably sharpened in the U.S. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else you would really say it. I mean, we're talking about a guy that races the Roar Nationals, every race in the U.S., RJ Concepts Indoor National Series. He's at all these things. They're all in the U.S. So it's like, I don't know.
I think it's interesting that we haven't won in the United States with a U.S. driver.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to Mayfield probably not winning that one in 2008.
2008?
Yeah, the one that...
that was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, the one that Hara won. Mayfield led probably 75% of that race, at least. And it really looked like he was going to win it for a while. He came into the pits, doing one of his last pit stops, and the car flamed out in the pits. Brent changed the glow plug, sent him back out, but yeah, he lost a lot of time there. So Ryan's lost a lot of these worlds in 8 scale. I think he's only finished twice, to be honest. And that's probably the reason why I would say that some of these guys have an advantage over others because they have a better program. Mm-hmm. So I was going back to earlier is Ty Tessman races multiple classes all year long. Jared Tebow races multiple classes all year long. Mayfield races all year long, different classes. Cavallari, Rivkin. These guys are racing 6-7 classes in a year, And like Robert Battle, he basically races one class. He races 8-scale nitro buggy all year long. And, sure, he runs some e-buggy here and there, but I I mean, he's a specialist. He's a 8-scale nitro specialist, and he's damn good at it. These other guys kind of split their time between multiple vehicles, so you have to pay for that a little bit. And sometimes where it pays is when you don't win the big one, because you weren't able to dedicate everything that was needed to get it done. Your program isn't completely strong enough. I think the ironic part about this list, when you look at this top 25, is Ty Tessman does so well because he probably easily has the best program. Between him and his dad, their preparation, their kind of togetherness, their living and dying with their own setups, and their engine and fuel, pitch strategy, they're like just so good at that. And that is their strength. Besides Ty's great driving, that's their strength. That's why they're a favorite, right behind Ungaro and these other guys in this, is because their program is so great. I mean, they went to the Euros this year and pitted for Bruno Coelho, and he won the 8-scale Euros.
Jeez.
I mean, the guy's raced 8-scale a lot, but never had that type of a result, even close, as far as I know.
Damn.
And they went there and benched and pitted for him, and he won. So it kind of shows you that they have a pretty good handle on prepping for races of that caliber. So that's why the reason Mayfield hasn't won the Worlds in 8 scales, because of his program. It hasn't been good at the right time. And some of these other guys, the reason they haven't won is their program. It's not because they're not talented enough. Or Mayfield probably could have won 3 of these things on talent, but he hasn't. So, I mean, and again, this year he's going to the Worlds and he doesn't really have a dedicated pit guy. So, he has great sponsors. And he asks people occasionally to be his pit guy, but nobody is consistently his pit guy all year long. Like, the Tessmans have their dad, and Ronnefolk has Adrian and his dad, and Ungaro has his people, and all these guys have their guys.
Wow.
And,
I didn't realize that.
He doesn't have a guy. It's like he wrenches and does all the work himself and basically uses the pit guy that's there that he can use. It's like if Adam Drake doesn't make the A main, Adam Drake will probably be pitting him in the main. If Ryan makes the main, and he didn't make the main at the Nationals because he flamed out. So, but
wow,
if Adam doesn't make the main and Ryan makes the main, he's got a great pit guy. If Ryan makes the main and Adam makes the main, Ryan has to find a pit guy.
Jason Rona.
Now all of a sudden I'm the pit guy.
All of a sudden,
I already got thrown out of the pits once this year. So.
Oh, by Mayfield?
Yeah, and I thought I did a good job. No, he didn't throw me out of the pits.
Oh, okay. Get out of here.
It is exciting down there, but it's crazy. Anyway, the program: Ungaro, Tessman, Ronnefolk, Robert Battle, Mayfield. That's your list right there. And then you got everybody else, which you just never know. Cole Ogden, this track suits him. He might be in it. Joe Bornhorst, Ryan. I mean, these guys are just amazing. I mean, just listen to this list.
Good.
Davide Ungaro, Ty Tessman, David Ronnefolk, Jared Tebow, Ryan Mayfield, Elliott Boots, Ryan Cavallari, Spencer Rivkin, Robert Battle, Ryan Lutz, Joe Bornhorst, Cole Ogden, Adam Drake, Juan Carlos Canas, Dakota Fend, Martin Walanka, Ricardo Breton, Jorn Neumann, Mike Truey, Renaud Savoia, Yao Figueroa, Marco Barafalo, Tanner Stees, Alex Zankatine, and Cody King. That's 25 on this list, and
Yeah, Cody's in there. All right, cool.
yeah, I think he's kind of holding on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that.
That is a list. There's not going to be much turn marshaling. Not like if I was there.
And this Juan Carlos Canas, this kid is fast.
So it's almost like anybody. It's up for grabs.
Yeah, I don't think the win is really up for grabs. It's still between, I think, these favorites. And that's why the long shot is so hard. The guy that wasn't even on this list was our long shot, Kyle McBride, because he doesn't run enough races to make this list. But, I think that in order for a long shot to win, something has to happen to four of the favorites. Ungaro, Tessman, Ronald, those kind of guys have to have some issues. And
who's our local Australians at that race?
It's Kyle McBride. Kyle McBride is Australian.
Oh,
that's why he's
Ben Panic racing.
Yeah, he is. He'll be in there. He's been to this track before, so
gotta watch those guys.
I'm kind of predicting he might have one of his best finishes at a Worlds. I don't know what that is, but I think that he's poised for having a little bit of a perhaps advantage, and maybe having been there and take advantage of it, get a decent result. And a decent result at the Worlds is, it can go down pretty far because you're at the Worlds, right? So if you could get in the top half, it's pretty damn good.
Consider it a success.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck to our Australian friends and listeners of the show. Ben Panic, Kyle McBride.
Yeah, there's some others. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I'm eating some chips and dip right now. It's really good.
Yeah, come on.
So, yeah. And by chassis, Kyosho has 8. This is as of 2000. This is 2014. So Kyosho 8, Mugen 3, HB Racing 2, Yankee 1, and Garbo 1. Yankee. That must go way back, right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
And by Engines, OS has 5, RB 3, Nova Rossi 2, Can't Pronounce You 1, Can't Pronounce You 1, Can't Pronounce You 1, Pico 1, and Team Orion 1.
Yeah, Cody King won with the Orion.
That's pretty crazy to me there. Pico and Orion with 1.
Mm-hmm. You know what's kind of interesting to look at, for me anyway? If you go to, what is this under? IFMAR World Championships.
What did Ronofolk win with in 2016 engine?
Actually, that was an Orion also. Orion should have 2.
Okay, so they have 2 then.
Yeah.
And then there's only one driver that has 2 world titles. That's interesting. 2 A-scale world titles. And Maurizio Manosi with 2. And he won that in 1988 and 1994. He racing for Italy. He won in Italy in 1988, and then he won in 1994 in Austria. And he was running Garbo in 88 and Kyosho chassis in 94.
You know what's kind of funny that I bumped into one
So you know what? That's pretty interesting too. That there hasn't really been somebody real dominant.
Well, I think that shows you the nature of 8 scale racing is that it's hard to finish. So it's hard to finish strong and be fast enough to win. So I think, yeah, it was pretty interesting.
So David Ronefalk has a chance to do something that hasn't been done since 1994.
There you go.
Well, not exactly. He would be the first. He would be the first back-to-back winner. So that's never been done. I'm sorry. So that's pretty cool. He has a chance to do that.
That's cool.
No added pressure, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something to work towards. There you go. Back-to-back world title. Okay. What are you looking up there?
I was just looking up before. What's kind of funny is there's a page somewhere on Wikipedia that says car manufacturer titles
Oh.
in RC, and it's pretty funny because we actually are on the list because our car won the Worlds.
Absolutely. That was in 2003.
5.
Ryan Cavalieri.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you go down the list of manufacturers that have won Worlds. Like, oh, there we are.
Would you type in RC car manufacturer?
Actually, I have right here is IFMAR World Championships Wikipedia wiki. So go there but there's a different one somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember where I saw this, but yeah, there's some cool stuff on this Wikipedia page.
17 of the world's most poisonous snakes can be found in Australia.
I can almost jump as far as Kirby.
So look out for them.
Yeah, Kirby's an athlete, man.
He is.
What a bugger.
Now, where are you going to be in Australia? South Australia?
Perth.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at.
Okay. Me either. Yeah, this Perth is all the way on Western Australia on the water. So I think we fly Orlando to Dallas, Fort Worth, and then Dallas to Sydney, and then Sydney to Perth. I'm sure it's freaking awesome.
Well, I'd be able to chat with you while you're on the plane there.
I hope so. Hope we have internet. As long as I can keep my phone charged on the plane, have my headphones on, and have some internet.
You're going to be listening to some 83 Weeks, Bruce Pritchard's podcast, Something to Wrestling With. What else are you going to be listening to?
Something to wrestle with.
Check out Dinner with the King, Stone Cold's podcast.
I was pretty up on the latest Bruce Pritchard, that one that just came up.
Mm-hmm.
But I was playing the latest 83 Weeks, and I kind of got sidetracked in and out of my office, and the thing was playing, so I didn't really hear that whole thing. But I actually like Bruce Pritchard better than Bischoff, but I like the podcast a little bit better, I think. But they're both really good. They are.
Yeah.
But Bischoff, he gets it. He's but I mean, his run was really pretty short in comparison to the time period that we're in now. I mean, the stuff they're talking about was 20 plus years ago, and you got guys in the WWE like Vince and all them who are still involved, and they've been just kicking ever since.
Yep.
Haven't missed a beat. Pretty impressive.
All right, Jason. I think we did a pretty good job previewing this Worlds.
Yeah, did.
Covered a lot of stuff, answered a lot of questions. Head on over to the Facebook page and put your predictions there. And you can win a Jason Rona autographed 8-scale body.
That's right.
If you get the correct winner of the race, and then we'll throw everybody in a hat and pick a name from there, and that's who wins the body. So head on over there, make your prediction.
What if Spencer Rivkin
Get it done.
wins?
Mm-hmm.
That would...
He's a Patriot fan, so that's a quite possibly rises to the occasion.
Closer.
The closer does it, gets it done. I can see
He's
that
got
happening.
a pretty good program.
Yeah?
I'm telling you, that's what, a lot of this is going to come down to that.
Spencer's watching some YouTube videos right now.
Getting pumped.
Yep. Watching some of the old 8-scale Worlds.
I mean, you think at this point Spencer has probably won. He's won 3 of the most difficult races to win in the world. He's won the 2-wheel buggy portion of the Worlds. He's won the Roar Nationals in 2-wheel buggy. And he's won the 8-scale Roar Nationals in buggy. So he's won 3 of the hardest races to win. It's possible.
Well, best of luck over in Australia.
All right.
Give him hell.
Who will?